Happy Friday, everybody. Another double feature. Hopefully you like the whole concept of me being on a green screen. Today we have two new videos straight from, can't pronounce your name, but Romancer is going to be a local one. Have your name pop up. Let's jump in. This is going to be an intersection where somebody's going to be going through the intersection, not stopping at the stop sign, and he did a good job. So let's go ahead and watch this one real quick. So he's coming up to an intersection. This is the hazard mode. Hey, blinking in your head. Hazard, hazard, hazard. He's not going at a high rate of speed, so he reduced that factor. Here's the vehicle, not stopping where it's supposed to stop. He applied the clutch, applied the brakes, slowed down, and was able to miss the whole incident. Let's go ahead and go back a little bit more. So right here we have a sign that shows arrows, left, right, straight, all these different things. That is also an indication, hey, there's gonna be a junction or an intersection to where you're gonna be changing which direction you're gonna be going. Typically you don't see those unless there's like an exit somewhere. So that's a good indication that there's an intersection coming up. Also a good indication is that you have a right hand, left hand, straight, everything. So I like the fact that he's slowing down, and I mentioned that he's not going fast, and that's reducing a factor of crashing. Okay, so we have multiple factors. We have high speed, we have improper turning, we have inebriated, so you have some alcohol or some any type of depressant, stimulant, anything like that that could really affect your motor function. We also have sun in the eyes, we have worn tires, bad brakes. Pretty much anything and everything can combine itself together and create a crash factor situation to where, speed, if we would just remove the speed, the high speed, we could possibly just maybe have only a close call, not a crash. So what I see here is that he reduced his speed. He's riding within his limits. He's riding what he can do for the area, and that's going to actually help him out quite a bit. His reduced speed is going to give him better reaction time, better stopping distance, better everything. So he's going to see this vehicle. So intersections are hazards. So he's coming up to a hazard. He knows what's a hazard. He sees this vehicle not slowing down. You see how it never slowed down? He has a stop sign. He did a quick little pause, but typically when people are coming up to a stop sign, you will see that they are going to slow down and actually come to a stop. You go from 20 to 18, 15 miles an hour, 12 miles an hour, 10, 5 until you stop, and you could pause, like at 2 miles an hour and then keep going, but he never did. He maybe went from like 30 miles an hour down to 20, back to 30. So if you ever see something like that where there's not a drastic change, where it's like almost to a snail pace and somebody's supposed to be coming up to a stop sign, that should be that clue. Guys, you need to start thinking about the negative stuff, the things that are out of the ordinary. Those are the things that will save your life. If you're riding and you're driving or whatever, you're walking around, it's like, wait, that doesn't look right. That is a natural instinct that we need to exercise. That is something we need to focus on. That is your hazard perception. Start doing that while you're driving. If you're driving, even if you're a passenger, you start looking around and it's like, oh, these car drivers are all in their lanes. That's perfectly fine. That's what's supposed to be normal. All of a sudden you see a tire start creeping over that line. That right there is out of the ordinary. That right there is what's going to save your life, and so you can make evasive maneuvers. That's the whole point of analyzing. You need to analyze that. So we're going to come up to this, and I'm going to analyze this car. So I see the car slowing down a little bit. Oh, he picked up his speed again. Now with the line of sight, I can see that he's in the intersection and we have a ton of room. If this rider was going fast, he would be almost into the intersection. Either he gets T-boned or he will T-bone the other rider or the car driver. So you need to slow down sometimes so you can have that hazard perception. I don't care if you want to go crazy fast all the time. Just realize that you are going to be minimizing your hazard perception. Our brains and our eyes are not designed to find hazards at 20 miles an hour, let alone 60 plus. Okay, so let's go ahead and slow down our stuff. Our brain and our eyes are designed to recognize hazards at a walking or running speed. So we're starting to evolve a little bit with our speed. So we're going to find the moment he actually did his search, evaluate, execute. Okay, so he's searching right now. He's constantly scanning. Searching happens all the time. But the moment you find that thing that's out of the ordinary is when you go into evaluation mode. Once you hit evaluation mode, it's almost instantaneous to where you go into execution mode. Now, execution mode, the executable evasive maneuver type thing can be anything. If you panic, you can execute a panic brake. Or if you've practiced and you have high enough skills, you can execute an emergency braking with progressive brake pressure to where you never dump the bike. You see where I'm getting at with that? So right now he's doing his search, and the moment he applies anything, that is the evaluation, and then right next to it is the execution. So we're going to watch what happens, and we're going to see his execution. Right there. That's his execution. So he saw it, he evaluated, and within a split second, he He executed. You do not want to make a decision when there's an emergency. You want your skills and your training to kick in, and you want it to be good skills and good training. So this is the moment he executed something. So he pulled the clutch in all the way. That's going to remove power to the rear wheel. So now if he applies the brakes, let's say he's in 5th gear, 4th gear, whatever it is, he's not in 2nd or 1st, he's in 4th or 5th. He's going to pull in the clutch, he's going to remove power to the rear wheel. If he applies the brakes right now, he's going to slow down his engine, he's going to slow down his speed, he's going to slow down everything to where typically you're supposed to downshift into like 2nd gear, maybe 3rd gear. So if he's pulling in the clutch and he's doing all that stuff, now the hazard is going to go ahead and go past him. But what happens about the hazard behind you? Just because you just saw something and this massive thing just happened, you still quite possibly have hazards behind you. So now that you had the clutch pulled in and you slowed down enough, now we have to start downshifting a little bit to match the speed or RPMs that we're running at. So this is why it's very important to pull in the clutch, because if you just applied the brakes, you could either stall or you can be, lugging it very slowly, not have enough power to get out of the way. Just because the hazard is gone does not mean that you can relax and call it a day. You are still on the road, you're still in a dangerous situation. So let's go ahead, downshift, get back into the gear that we're supposed to be at, and get the heck out of there, okay? Because right now, if he tries to accelerate, and let's say he was in 4th and 5th gear, and he was at a higher rate of speed, he pulled in the clutch, and he never downshifted, and he's at this position. Now there's cars behind him, or there's other cars wanting to move, and if he has to get out of the intersection quickly, he's not going to be able to, because he's not going to be in the wrong gear. So start downshifting after the hazard has disappeared and get out of there. Very good job, man. Very good. If you'd like to chat with me and other DDFM crew members, swing on by the Discord. It's an absolute free service and allows you to get in contact with me and others around the world. More information at motorcycleridingtips.com. So this one's actually coming from Tucson, my own local town here, from Romancer. It's going to be at nighttime, and this is going to be a crash, and this is going to be that panic brake that we're talking about. So let's go ahead and move on to this. He's going about 30 miles an hour, 35, look at 29 right now. Coming up to the intersection, this is that hazard right here. So you see how there's a lot of blinding light? That's going to play into this. Blinding light, he's going to wave on the next person. It's a green light for the rider. And then boom, last second, there it is. So let's go ahead and see what happened and why this happened. All right, so we're going to come up to the intersection right here. It's at nighttime. We have blinding lights and bad line of sight. So in this situation, we're going to go into the intersection. So we have a vehicle up front. Now, the vision, the brightness, and all that stuff, it could be the aperture. It could be all these different things with the camera. He possibly could have better vision than what we can see right now. But the biggest thing here is line of sight. We have a stack of cars wanting to turn left in front of us. The one car that's going to slowly make it and go past, and then the motorcycle is going to get in, is blocking the sight for the person behind him. So the person behind him never saw the motorcyclist. So this right here should give you pause. If a vehicle is going to be pulling out in front of you and you're having to wave them down or whatever it is, first let's focus on us. But if you're having to wave somebody or let them through, that's a hazard that has gone away. Perfect. There's other hazards quite possibly. So until the intersection is clear for you, not because it's told and it's legal for you. That's what I'm trying to get. If it's legal for you, that's different than if it's good for you. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So just because this motorcycle rider can get into the intersection because it's a green light doesn't mean he should get in the intersection because it's a green light. Let's still check. Let's look both ways. Let's see if there's no other cars coming. All these different things. I am perfectly fine with waiting an extra 10, 20 seconds than having to deal with the hospital and fixing my bike. So right here, he's going to let the other vehicle go. So they went. Perfect. But you see how there's this big glob of light still behind that vehicle? That's another vehicle. And we can't tell right now if they're turning left or if they're going straight. But as a motorcyclist, let's go ahead and just pause. Let's not get in the intersection first. Let's pause. Let's kind of see what they're doing and then go. Sometimes, it just sucks. I wish they would see us so we wouldn't have to do this. But we're going to go ahead and go back just a little bit. So we have multiple vehicles going straight across, which is fine for a green light. And then we also have vehicles turning left in front of us. So right here, we're going to go ahead and let this guy through. But then right here, let's keep our hands. Let's keep our hands on the bike. Okay, we have primary controls. We have the clutch, we have the throttle, we have the front brake, rear brake, and we have the shifter. Okay, these are all our primary controls. We have four hands. We have 2 hands, 2 legs, and we have to manipulate all these different things all the time. And they are called primary controls for a reason. We need to be using them. The horn is not a primary control. It's not included in that list. Your blinkers, your indicators are not primary controls. These are primary controls. So let's keep our hands near them just in case we need to use them. So when we lift our hand up, because we're kind of letting this person through, we're setting ourselves up for a little bit of a failure. I talked about critical factors here, one of them being speed, one of them being this, that, this, anything and everything, bad tires, all that. Well, the critical factors in this situation is that it's nighttime. We're not wearing full gear, so we're increasing our risk. We're also not paying attention to the vehicles behind this vehicle. And I'm not here to talk bad about anybody. I'm here to learn with you guys. And so we need to start minimizing these risk factors. So line of sight was definitely a risk factor in this. He couldn't see the vehicle behind him. The vehicle couldn't see him behind him. So let's slow it down. So about right here, I would not be in the intersection. I would be slowing it down until this person went. And then I'm going to double check after they start going, hey, is there anybody else? If there is, I'm going to wait. And yeah, they took my spot. They took what was legally mine. I'm supposed to go straight on a green light, but I don't care. At the end of the day, you get through, whatever, I'm going to go. I don't want to deal with it. So what happens here is the vehicle, it starts to come out, and we're going to go ahead and apply way too much front brake pressure. It grabbed it. We were going at, 19 miles an hour, and we're going to go straight up and over. We're going to go endo over the bike. That's one of the big problems when grabbing a fistful of front brake and not doing progressively and kind of slowing down, applying pressure to that front tire. But yeah, we went up and over, and it's going to be more of an angular accident because the car's turning, he's going up, and he's going to get hit on the side. It's going to be rotating. And once again, if we're not wearing full gear, we're opening ourselves up to severe injuries when typically if this accident happened when somebody with full gear, doesn't have to be track leathers, it could just be more the impact stuff. A little bit bruised, no broken bones, no road rash, no nothing like that. Still very severe though. 20 miles an hour, it's not good. But thank you so much for sending it in, and we're all learning together, guys. Let's not see any mean or anything in the comments. So we're going to go ahead and move forward. It's a green light for him. The intersection isn't going to be the dangerous position in this one. We are going to have a car turn out in front of us, and it's going to be this white car, boom, right here, turns out in front of us, and now he's going to go ahead and slow down, and he did a head check just in case he had to do his escape path, letting the vehicle go.